Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Yvonne. I'm Yvonne. How the heck are you? Listen, we want to make sure to start this as we always do. I want to ask you, just think about it for a second. How are you doing? How are you faring? How's your day, week, month, year going? I always want to throw that out there because we don't know the challenges that people are experiencing. And I just want you to know that this community cares about you, cares for you. Hope that you're doing well. And with life being so busy, sometimes we just forget to stop and say, "How are you?" So I just want to make sure that I do that for you. If you want to become a part of this community, we'll talk about it later. Just, enjoy this session and, see what you think. So, how are things going for me? Pretty well. I don't have really any challenges, problems, concerns really to discuss or anything like that. But I did have a really interesting conversation with my husband a few days ago. You know, when we got married, a few years ago, we just decided to always do yours, mine, and ours. So I do my thing with money, he does his thing with money, and then we do joint. And I just had never really talked to him. He knew that I had student loans. He knew that, but he didn't know what I owed. And over the years, I'm sure I told him what I took out, and I'm in the process of paying it off. In the last few months, my balance is down 6 grand. So yay! Got a ways to go, but I'm making progress. So that's always a good thing. And we were talking about retirement and when I thought I might want to go. It's a few years down the road. But he said something interesting to me. He says, so when you retire, we can just leave your 401k alone. And just when how does that go? Required monthly distribution, I think is what it is. And he said, we can just leave that alone. And I looked at him and I go, what? And he repeated it. I said, let me break something down to you, hon. That's not going to quite work. I explained to him, I've been getting statements for the last several years from Social Security to let me know how much I can anticipate getting in retirement. And I'm not at, what is it, full retirement age. And so I can't get that. Well, I could do it, but while I'm working, there would be penalties. And so, I have to wait until full retirement age before I can take advantage of my Social Security because I'm still working. And I said, so here's what I'm going to get in Social Security. And here's what I'm getting from my small pension from a previous employer. And I said, that number I'm giving you, that's before taxes. So when you tax it, there is no way I'm living off that. We've discussed this before, people not really understanding the money that they can expect to receive in retirement, and they're not planning appropriately. And I said, okay, so here's what I'm going to get, what I will get. I need another $1,000 clear, after taxes, to keep up with the current lifestyle, to keep up with bills, to be able to put money away for, a couple of decent vacations a year, and, just really to have that money that, being able to take care of us. He didn't realize that. And so, even people who've lived together for a long time don't always know what the other has coming in. And so I just really had to share with him. So, this is what this is what I have, and this is what we can expect to receive in retirement. And it's not quite what you thought. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. But to really have the life that I've been planning for, I needed a little bit more. And we talked about this a few shows ago. You really need to plan on your money lasting until you are 100 years old. And you're hearing me, and I'm sure you're thinking, say, what? Wait, hold up. What? life expectancies have grown, right? And you need to prepare, you need to be prepared for it. So I was doing the math. This is what I have coming in. This is what I'm going to need. And I'm going to need my 401k, 403b, whatever alphabet soup you have. Just plan accordingly and, share with your spouse, because until I said that, he really did not know. So I'm glad we had that conversation. That's always a good thing. Expenses are going up. I know that the president not too long ago said, how did it go? He says he didn't want to hear anymore about prices going up. He says the cost of things are going down. None of mine are. And if yours are, would you feel free to share with the community here, because I would really like to know how anybody's costs can be going down. My mortgage, obviously, that's the same. But things like insurance, things like utilities, groceries. I just came from one of the big box stores where you have a membership to go in. And I'm going to make my special chili. I gave you the recipe a few episodes ago. Super easy, And one of my girlfriends, she doesn't eat beef, which would have been cheaper for me to buy. And I said, would it be okay if I made the chili with ground turkey? She says, yes, that works. Only thing is, that's more expensive than the beef. But this is my girlfriend and I love her, and we get together quarterly. So, it's not that big of a deal. We're just kind of planning our holiday gathering with a few of us and really looking forward to that. But the cost of everything went up. I picked up the ground turkey. I looked at it. I set it down and I walked away. I went and did the rest of my shopping and go, I'm really going to have to pay that, because if I went to a regular grocery store for the ground turkey, I know I would have gotten less and paid more for it. So I just had to swallow hard and do what I needed to do. So that is what I did. And like I said, if your expenses have gone down, please share with the group. We want to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and applaud you, because apparently I missed something along the way. So anywho, you know me, and I bought all these kids' books, and guess what? I don't care. So this one, Financial Literacy and Life Skills for Kids. Now, we had this conversation. Yes, child's book, but adults can learn from it too. And so, I was flipping through it the other day, and I go, what can we chat about? And especially since I just got back from grocery shopping, right? And I really like this one. It says, Picture of the Month. Can you see it? And what it does is, I wish I had been taught more about money growing up. And I'm guessing that's the same with a number of you. We just weren't. Our parents didn't think about it. I don't know if they were shielding us from the realities of life. I don't know. But I didn't learn until well after I left home these things that I should have been planning for, I should have been prepared for, but just didn't know. Most of us don't know, which is why I started this channel ages ago. So it was talking about monthly bills, and just kind of it's the pie, and it's just breaking down what the bills are. And for kids, it's like think. Many of the bills are static. Maybe rent, maybe. My mortgage is the one constant that I can plan on. There's the other things that are going to change. And it was talking about the electric bill. That can change. That's not the exact same amount every single month. Whether it's a different time of year or utilities are more expensive. So that is something to keep in mind. Your credit card. Now for me, I have a plan every single month. It is part of my list. And I'm going to stop myself for a second, because the list I'm speaking of is taking a blank sheet of paper. Remember how we did that? How much are you bringing in each and every month? the first thing after that, before you get to the expenses, is pay yourself first. You determine what that should be. I do. I put money away for the insurance payment that's going to come because I pay that every 6 months, and emergency expenses. I do that. One thing I have to I have to take care of myself. So there is self-care, and I get a massage every month, twice a month actually. So there's that, and then how much cash do I need in hand to spend throughout the month? It's all planned out before I get to my expenses. Then I write down, what do I anticipate these expenses to be, and how close did I get to those? Did I go over anywhere? And that's happened. Things came up, but because I didn't spend all the money I had put away, I was able to take care of that. So that's just something for you to think about. Write stuff down, because that's really the only way you're going to know what your expenses are and what you need to plan for. Okay? And because sometimes I'll forget, you have set up your retirement account, have you not? Oh, please tell me you've done that. Please go to your employer and talk to them about setting up whatever that retirement plan is at your workplace. Mine is the 401k. So I'm putting money away before tax, that is put away for retirement. And people are saying, it's hard for me to live now, worrying about the future. Some people, okay, I've been there. Everything I've talked about are things that I have experienced too. Okay, I was in the same boat. There was just a certain point where I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do here but make it work. Because like I was saying before, one of the earlier shows, you kind of live in two lives, right? You're living the now, where you have to have fun. We're working every day to have a good life, but it needs to be fun. What do I need to do the things that I like to do? But then again, remember, the future is coming up faster than you think it is. And, I've talked to people, I've heard from people who say, I'm just going to have to work until I'm dead. That is so incredibly sad to have that particular thought process. But the other part of that is, what if your health won't keep up with that? You are assuming you can keep working and working and working, and that there won't be any changes in your health, your physical, mental, whatever, that there will be no changes. And we can't live as though that's the case, because we know it isn't. There may come a time when you have to stop working. So keep all that in mind. Take care of yourself. And, I've thrown some recipes out there, some tricks, and I will keep doing that. We'll do a recipe on one of our next shows, something, because quick, we need to eat. I want good food. It needs to be quick and dirty. If you're a really good cook, I'll come to your house and enjoy, and I will enjoy every moment of it. But when I cook, it needs to be quick. It needs to be good. It needs to be quick. It needs to be dirty. And then by that, I mean, okay, what's the biggest bang I can get for my buck? Number one, and what tastes good, and what can we make multiple meals from? Things to think about. So at the beginning of this, I said, if you're enjoying your time here, and I'm so pleased to hear that you are. You see where it says subscribe? Please feel free to do that. We just love to have you as part of this community. And keep in mind, I will never come to you and ask for money for you to be a part of this. Because decades ago, I wish something like this had been available to me. For all of us, I'm not making $100,000. I may never make $100,000 a year. I just need to make do with what I have, to be happy with what I have, to be satisfied with all that I have worked for, all that I've accomplished. I just have to be able to do that. This is my reality. I'm happy, and this is my life. And You just have to look at stuff that way. So take care of your today, yes, but also make sure to take care of your tomorrow. Okay? Now, with that, we're going to wrap this up. Get your money right with Yvonne. I am Yvonne. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, okay? You take care. Bye-bye.